Hey, Cubs fans, and welcome to a brand new edition of Cubs on Tap. But before we get started, we are talking about a W today. That was the cleanest one I've had so far.
Yes,
we
definitely.
are talking about a W today. I'm Ron Luce, joined today by Joe Maris. And Joe, initial reactions. Holy shit, what a game.
Wow. I mean, first off, I know let's get this over with. Friday.
Oh, yeah.
We're feeling
We got to
it.
crack them.
Crack them. Yep, we're feeling it. It's a Friday.
Woo.
I think let's make a commitment. At least I am. I will fill my stomach with 100% capacity of beer tonight. And some Italian sausage.
I love that because, like you said, 100% capacity was the name of the game today. Cubs,
oh yeah, big time.
First time Wrigley since September 22nd of 2019 that they had full capacity at Wrigley, and it was absolutely fucking electric.
Yep.
Electric. Like, I was unfortunately not able to be there. Our co-host Cody was able to be there.
Yep.
Very envious. But like, you could feel it through the television set today. You were just like, holy, or the radio, or however you listened to the game or watched the game or took the game in. You could sit there and you could just feel yourself. I could imagine myself sitting in the left center bleachers with an ice cold draft beer in my hand, just watching Rizzo just pimp that home run into right field. I probably would have thrown the beer. It probably would have been launched. I would have just been like, ah, and I would have not even cared because, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, like it's
like I had chills listening. I was listening on the radio all day while I was at work, and especially that Rizzo homer, that just gave me chills, man. You know, you could feel that, down 5-1, you just felt they were coming back. You know, there's no way that they're going to lose, especially 5-1 in this situation. You know, not that, can't say I thought they were going to come back all the way they did, but can't say I'm surprised. I mean, they just fed off the crowd. You know, Ross said after the game that the fans definitely helped them back up. You know, I don't know what everyone's opinions are on that, but man, that crowd was just awesome, and the Cubs reciprocated.
Yeah, I was gonna say that crowd was absolutely bananas today, and even I remember again, Cody said it. You know, I read his tweet. You know, it was like the third or fourth inning or whenever it was, but the Cubs were down, and he was like, "Doesn't matter if the Cubs are down. This place is still buzzing." Like it just. Everybody knew how crazy today was going to be. And like you said, the Cubs fed off that, that constant buzz in the ballpark, even when they're down and they're probably like, oh shit, here we go again. And then they're like, wait a motherfucking minute. We got 40,000 plus people here today. Yeah. Bill Murray's about to sing his guts out at the 7th inning stretch.
There's awesome.
5 Hall of Famers here today. Like they said, it was opening day 2.0.
Yep.
And I mean, what better way? I mean, fucking Jock gets it all started with the home run. He had a hell of a day. I mean, the Rizzo home run was obviously incredible. Sergio Alcantara just continues to be a fucking stud, and I just absolutely love the dude. And I
3 triples. 3 triples.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And he's only played what, like 15 games?
I don't even think that. I think that's too many.
Like he might lead the league in triples, and he's only played since like the middle of May.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's absolutely insane. I mean, it was literally the perfect win. Like, literally the only thing that went wrong was Cole Stewart having a bumpy start.
Right.
Outside of that, Thompson got the job done. Nance looked fucking incredible. Tepera, there's a reason he got an MVP vote. He looked awesome. And then, obviously, Dirty Craig being Dirty Craig.
Yep.
Just, what a day. What a day.
You know, not to we'll quickly touch on Cole Stewart. You know, he got into the 5th. You know, all things considered, it could have been way worse. We've seen way worse.
Mm-hmm.
But in this situation, you would have loved to see him maybe go a little deeper, just keep us in the game. You can't do both, give up hits and give up walks. You know, if you're going to give up hits, make them hit the ball to get on base.
Mm-hmm.
You can't walk them and then just allow them to just single. Like, it's just, if you're going to walk guys, you're going to have to find your way out of the inning. And he doesn't have that strikeout stuff to be able to walk guys and get out of the innings with no damage. So he's got to find a way to just you saw like that first out against the Padres. I think he only had 1 walk. So that's the blueprint. You know, keep the ball on the ground. Just keep guys off the bases. Obviously, that's the blueprint for every game, but especially for him because he does not have that strikeout stuff. So I think if he can return to that Padres game, just anywhere close, just to fill in. Obviously, he's not staying the way he's pitching. Wait until we get Trevor Williams and Alzolay back from the IL. He's gone. He hasn't. Besides that start against the Giants wasn't great. Today, all things considered, it's not the worst. We've seen worse, like I said, but we do need a little better from him in the meantime.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like you said, I think Cole Stewart's day would have been a lot better, just even minus the walks. Like, I can tolerate a hit because at least you make him work for it. But like four free pitches to the pitcher of all fucking people.
Right.
Like, come on, man. And again, like you said, like obviously we don't want to be down on this episode because it was still a great game. But like you said, going forward, right? That is something that they have to be keen on is, and that's honestly, if we're being entirely honest, the silver lining of the starting staff for the most part this season has been very good about keeping guys off the bases for free. Sure, they'll give up hits. Sure, they'll give up runs. They don't walk a ton of guys, though. Like, that has not been the Cubs thing all year. They don't allow a lot of walks, and that is why they've been able to be successful with, the middle of the pack, at best, rotation that they have this season. And like you said, but when you're giving these free passes to guys, Cole Stewart's, he threw 8 straight balls at one point to walk 2 straight guys. Like, you can't have that and expect to win. Now, obviously, today it worked out, but that's because, the Cubs bats got hot. They got to that Cardinals bullpen, and they showed a graphic on Marquee during the game. So obviously people at the game wouldn't know this, but like they said, they're like, imagine if you're David Ross, right? And both starters are out of the game. How good do you feel?
Right.
Turning it over to that bullpen, knowing that on most days, your bullpen is going to outduel every other bullpen in all of baseball. Right. Like literally the Padres and like maybe 1 or 2 other bullpens might be in that same echelon, but like you have the better bullpen when you turn it over to those guys. So it's like, you feel good because then you're like, all right, all the offense has to do is get to their bullpen and we're money. And that's exactly what happened today.
Yeah, the starting pitchers haven't done a great job of letting the Cubs hitters breathe a little bit. They're coming up to the plate behind a lot early in the games, but the bullpen has done a great job, especially bouncing back after the Cubs have scored a couple of runs, keeping the score where it's at. It's demoralizing. You scored 2 and you come back and give up 2. You're like, well, we're back at square one and we just put up our best effort. But today, like we've seen throughout this nice stretch, the bullpen's able to keep it where it's at, and the hitters come back and just demolish, just stomp on their throats, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's winning really baseball.
Is. Yeah, it really is, and like you said, man, I mean, the Cubs did so much damage to that bullpen is really where most of the damage occurred. Obviously, they started getting to the starter today. What was his name? Oviedo, I believe.
Johan Oviedo.
Oviedo. I mean, they eventually got to Oviedo, but second inning, Carpenter is able to drive in that run. It makes it 1-0. Then in the third, Arenado gets his first RBI of the day. That makes it 2-0. Jock obviously then in the fourth, keeps it close 2-1. But then that fifth for the Cardinals was obviously the huge turning point, the Carlson double, and inevitably the Arenado single that got 2 more in. But then like we've said, I mean, they got to the starting pitcher finally. The pass ball, scored Willie. That was the second run he would score because obviously then he hit that tank to right field later in the game. And then the Alcantara triple, the pickoff error, which it just warms my heart watching Yadier.
Yeah, you know what? I hate to see it.
Hate to see it, Joe.
It was that sweet to know he's just in the same inning too, where like I said, I was listening on the radio, so I had to go back and watch the clips. Just unforced errors.
Oh yeah,
and especially from him, man, does it just feel great? It just feels great. You could see on that pass ball, Alcantara, who's hitting, he gets out of the way and he kind of steps back in the box, like, oh shit. So I think it was Contreras. So yeah, it's Contreras coming in to score, and he's like, oh shit, he's coming. He didn't that's how Molina really fucked up there, and that just warms my heart, like you said.
It makes me smile, and I know it made Willie smile later in the game because he was smiling rounding the bases when he hit that homer. But then, like we said, I mean, the offense comes through 6th. Obviously, that incredible at bat. I mean, that's
my gosh.
And let's talk about that. Let's dive into that a little bit because obviously that was the big talk of today's game. I mean, what an incredible job and he talked about it at the end of the game. He was interviewed after the game on Marquee, and he said, he's like, yeah, I just battled. He goes, Ponce de Leon, everything was high. So, and he said, he's like, I was in swing mode. So I got to swing. I just at least got to get a piece of it. And he did. I mean, fuck. I was watching at that point on the Game Day app because I had to step away. And that was actually fun to watch on the Game Day app because, you get the anticipation of not knowing what's going on. And then you see a strike come in, but then you read foul. And you're like, ooh, he got another one. And then he does it again. And he does it again. And he does it again. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, he just worked the 10 pitch at bat. And then he got to 12. And I'm like, and I thought to myself, I was by myself. So of course I can't, there's nobody that can be like, Ron called it. But I was like, I swear I want that little blue dot that says in play runs. Because if Anthony Rizzo goes deep after this at bat, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. And what does he do? 2 pitches later after I'm thinking that, boom. And I'm like, let's fucking go. I'm yelling and screaming in my car. There's probably people that were like watching on the side of the road. Like, is this guy okay? Is he fine? What's going on? Like, he's really excited about something. Yeah. I was really excited because Anthony Rizzo hit a fucking moonshot the side of the game. And then obviously they didn't look back.
Right. Ron Coomer too on the radio broadcast. He was like, he's like the crowd's on their feet for all these foul balls. And each one, the crowd's getting louder. He's like, I can't imagine what it's going to be like if he ends this with a home run. And sure enough, oh boy.
Boom. Yeah, and that place went bananas. Like that was the climax of the day in terms of like crowd noise.
That replay of Rizzo running around the bases just screaming. Oh boy.
I got chills just thinking about it.
Exactly, I know.
Honestly, I am so envious of Cody and all the other 40,000 plus people that were there today that got to see that in person.
And maybe minus 5,000 Cardinals fans.
Yeah, fuck them. Even honestly, they'll probably look back on it in 10 years and be like, actually, that was pretty all cool things moment. Aside, that was a cool moment.
It's like the Mike Piazza home run. Not a little less serious, but
right. I mean, it's just in general. Like it's like any good play. Like you can appreciate a good play if you're a baseball.
Of course.
Player. And that was incredible. I mean, you work a 14 pitch at bat and you go yard. And like again, does he do that if it's not 100% capacity? We'll never know. But like it's a fun little spin zone to be like, well. And he said, he's like, the crowd noise definitely helps. Like you feed off the energy of the fans. And I mean, Wrigley, there was, I don't know about you, Joe, because I know you went to a couple games, obviously before 100% this year. I did as well. Like even at like 25% capacity when I was first going to the games, that still felt incredible. Oh, yeah. Like 10,000 fans on their feet was still like, it was, you could feel it. 40,000 people.
Yeah. I was there most recently on Memorial Day when both Baez and Wisdom had the 2 homers.
And it was 60%.
Right. And Baez, for both of his homers, the crowd's on their feet yelling "Javi," and he puts one in the seats, and everyone's going crazy. And you're like, you're like, this isn't 100%?
Could you imagine that at 100%? The 2 Javi homers, if you're chanting Javi, Javi, and he just nukes one, and you're just, oh my god, that place would go apeshit, absolutely apeshit.
So I'm looking forward to it. Like I've mentioned before on a couple of previous shows, I'm going Sunday night, so
I'm so jealous.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm so jealous. You don't know how close I am to just buying a ticket and saying fuck it.
Right.
Oh, I want to go so badly, especially against the Cardinals because it's the Cardinals. Like it's
so perfect.
Yeah, it's the rivalry. I mean, anytime
poetry in motion.
That would be like that's like the West Coast equivalent to going to like a Dodgers Padres game right now, or the East Coast equivalent to like Yankees Red Sox. You know what I mean? Like Cubs Cardinals it just hits differently. It really does, and I'm so jealous of you. That's gonna be awesome. But I mean, dude, that home run just. It was awesome. Like that was like the really truly like the cherry on top for the day.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that happens, the crowd goes fucking bananas. And let's be honest, at that point when the game is tied, the Cubs weren't going to lose. Definitely. It wasn't going to happen. There's no fucking way they lose after that.
Not a chance. I didn't get a chance to look at like live lines, but I would assume the Cubs were favorites at that point.
Hell yeah. Oh my God. They had to have been.
Of course, heavy favorites, even just being the home team in that situation too. They must have been heavy favorites.
I was gonna say that Rizzo home run gets hit, and those odds probably flipped pretty quickly. If I had to guess, I'd be willing to bet they probably went from like a plus 110, plus 120 to like a minus like 200, just immediately.
So that's what I was thinking too,
without even missing a beat because of how quickly that flipped it. And then I mean, it got even better, which was crazy because then Jason Hayward singles. Unfortunately, I remember Alcantara struck out in the 7th, and then Resnick comes up, pinch hits, he gets on base. And then fucking Jock is what? Probably 5 feet away from his second home run of the day.
Right. And, you could, looking back at that replay, you could have said it probably should have been caught. Still, you think about that at bat against, what's the Genesis Cabrera that got lefty thrown 99 for Jock Peterson. And he hit, I think I saw 102 off the bat. I mean, regardless of if that ball got caught, thank God it didn't. But
yeah,
what an at bat! Just a great day for Jack.
Oh yeah, but like you said, like you mentioned it, and I like that you kind of mentioned it subtly because I want people to pick up on it. It was a left-handed pitcher,
right?
I was told Jock couldn't hit lefty.
Right, guy throwing 99,
and he smoked it, and he absolutely smoked that ball, and it was like upper inside half of the plate too.
Yeah,
and he just turned on it and got all of it. And I agree. Maybe that is a catchable play. Who knows? Maybe the sun's in the outfielder's eyes. Like, there's a lot of things that can play into that.
He still hit it 102 miles an hour.
Yeah, he smoked that bitch.
Yeah.
That thing was absolutely demolished. Just a quick comment from our guy, Joey Ricotta here. He says, let's fucking go. Guys, Pat and Ron's radio call made me feel like I was there. And Joe, I mean, you just said that you were listening to the game as well on the radio and how electric even that was on radio.
Right.
I mean, I was excited on I was excited on a game day app. Fucking little just pitches. I was excited. Like I can. Oh man, just again. That's gonna, to me, going back just quickly to that Rizzo home run. Like, to me, that is going to be a highlight that we see again all season long.
Yep.
Just because it was just such an incredible moment. Again, everything built up. 5 home runs, 5 Hall of Famers in the ballpark for the day. It's against the Cardinals. It's the first day that the city of Chicago is at 100% capacity as a city. It's the first day at Wrigley that's 100% capacity. It's
just a gorgeous day outside.
Perfect June day, and a perfect June Friday. It's a Friday 120 game.
Yep.
Bill Murray singing the fucking 7th inning stretch. Everything was set up to be, again, literally like at opening day 2.0, like they called it. And then that happens. So, of course, that's going to be on highlight reels till we die. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves. Yeah, Anthony Rizzo engineered a 14-pitch home run at bat. Holy shit. Like, that is absolutely immaculate. And yes, Bill fucking Murray. Scott, I agree with you, buddy. Bill fucking Murray. And honestly, he crushed it.
Yeah, he was great.
Absolutely crushed it. And who knows? The funny part is he sings, and then the Cubs offense explodes for 3 runs in the next 2 innings because obviously there's the double. Hayward and Marisnick both come around to score. Hayward scores easily, and Marisnick, I mean, relatively easily. I mean, he was hustling, and he's a good base runner, so it was easy for him. And then in the bottom of the 8th, obviously Willie with the old insurance run, which we all love and adore. And I mean, he got a piece of that too. I mean, he absolutely nuked that thing. I mean, taking it away. Especially, and it was impressive because they were talking about it on the postgame show. And I want to say it might have been Sean Marshall that brought it up. He was like, that ball's tailing away from him. And yet he still is able to get out in front of it and just drive it to the opposite field. And I mean, and he nuked it. Like, he didn't miss.
Nope.
I mean, that thing was gone. I mean, that was in the well. That's when you know it's gone.
Definitely.
It wasn't a cheap hit. And oh man, and then the smile rounding first base too. That just adds to it.
I'm pretty sure I couldn't tell what like hand like thing he made. It looked like he made a heart to the crowd. He did something. I love you
guys.
He did something.
I saw when he got back to home plate, he some fan was like went to like give him a high five, and like he saw him at the last second, like stopped, turned around, and went back and high fived him and ran back. And I was like, that's awesome. That's when you know they're just feeling it. Like they're excited about it too. Because I would, at least as an athlete. I mean, again, Joe, I know you played. You played in college, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I played not baseball, obviously, but I played collegiate athletics as well. And so, like, I imagine that as a former player myself, I would hate playing in an empty ballpark or an empty stadium or anything empty because it's just there's no energy, there's no like atmosphere to it. But like, I still remember our homecoming games at St. Xavier where I played my college football, and like that place got rowdy. And it was just small NAIA, south side of Chicago, but like it was a hell of an atmosphere, and like that made a big difference. Like we were dominant at home. We rarely ever lost at home. So I mean, and I'm sure it's probably the same for you guys as well. Like
definitely
when you have that crowd noise to feed off of, it makes such a big difference. And then obviously when you scale that on the way that you do in professional athletics, where it's 40,000 people in a baseball stadium, obviously some other, stadiums are bigger or smaller depending on the sport. Your basketball and hockey's, usually 18 to 21. Football's anything from 60 to Jerry World, which is like 150,000. But like that energy is absolutely fucking bananas. And they were into it. Like, again, Willie's running back and giving people high fives. He's smiling around in the bases. Justin Fields is getting a standing ovation.
Yeah, that was great too.
Like, how fucking, I saw somebody tweet it. I think it might have been Max Markham on Twitter. He's a big Bears personality for those that are not sure to who he is. But he was like, both baseball teams are in first place, which granted, we only care about the Cubs, but both baseball teams are in first place. He's like, Justin Fields is a Chicago Bear. Aaron Rodgers is about to get shipped to Denver and like something else. And I was just like, yeah, Chicago's fucking vibing right now. Everybody's loving life here in Chicago because, again, it's just like, I was told that the Cubs were going to suck in 2021.
Right.
I was told that the Bears weren't going to trade up and go get a franchise quarterback. I'm sure Southsiders were told that they were just going to be fucking disappointed again. And all of the Chicago sports teams are just giving a big old one-gun salute to everybody that said that, saying, go fuck yourself. We don't care. Like, it's awesome. And just quickly, I want to read this comment for those that are listening to this as a podcast. But Joey says to scare the Cards out of here. And yeah, let's scare them out of here. Like, let that energy in Wrigley Field intimidate the Cardinals. Because it's going to make a difference. It really is. It's going to be nuts. And I'm excited for it. And then Scott from Iowa. Fields is a Cubs fan. I sure hope he is. If he's a Cubs fan, I mean, I already like Justin Fields. He played for two of my favorite universities that I like to root for in terms of UGA and Ohio State. But like, and now he's a Bear. And you just add the fact he's a Cubs fan. It makes hold on. It makes this. If I can find it. Yep. A lot of noise in the background here.
Good radio.
It makes this bad boy absolutely worth the investment.
Definitely.
It still is. And for those that are listening to the podcast, I'm holding a Justin Fields jersey. But this thing is absolutely worth it if he's a Cubs fan. It just makes it that much sweeter. It really does. Absolutely makes it that much sweeter. I just made an absolute mess behind me. But it is what it is. It's fine. We're talking about a Cubs winner. 8-5 today. I mean, just and something else too. I think that deserves a lot of love, Joe. And then I'm going to turn it over to you for any other things and thoughts that you have, in terms of today's game. But how about Tommy Nance going 2 innings and getting the win, his first win? Again, I know Cody likes to say it all the time on Twitter. This guy was in the independent league.
Yep.
And he is absolutely shoving at the big league level right now. And it's awesome to see. Absolutely awesome to see.
He's dominant. He really is. Still, he's got I'm looking now, he's still at a 0 ERA. He has not given up a run yet.
Yeah.
Let's see how many total innings. He's got to be up over, 12 innings.
At least. I mean, they've used him a lot.
11 and a third.
There you go.
11 and a third in 12 appearances, zero earned runs. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. And it's not like they're using him again, this is not a shot at anybody. It's not like it's Dylan Maples' time where they're usually down in a game and he's getting used. Like, Tommy Nance has pitched in some very big situations this year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as big as guys like Andrew Chafin and Ryan Tepera and Craig Kimbrell, because those are kind of your three-headed monster big guns. But, like, I mean, Nance, Steele, even Keegan Thompson to an extent, like, they're using these guys who are a little less experienced in high-leverage situations, and they're showing up and they're giving you a productive outing.
Right.
And it's impressive. It really is.
Yeah, he's really filling in. My favorite reliever that the Cubs have had in the last couple of years has been Rowan Wick, and he's still on the shelf. But Tommy Nance is really quickly replacing him as my favorite reliever. I mean, he comes in, he just calm, cool, and collected. He just gets it done, man. He just gets it done. Just power stuff. Here it is. Go get it. And he's delivering.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, it's unbelievable how good he's been. And that was something I was just going to add. Can you imagine, like, if Rowan Wick is Rowan Wick of old, and you add him to this bullpen?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any updates on him in a while, but man, that would be incredible.
That would be insane.
He's been so good with the Cubs.
I was going to say, like, 2019 and 2020, he was probably the Cubs' best reliever.
Oh, easily.
So you add that to this dynamic bullpen that's already elite.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Nobody's touching the Cubs. It would be the
and
case.
Where's Brandon Morrow?
That's actually a good question.
I think he signed again with the Dodgers or something.
He might be. Yeah, he might be back in LA.
I don't think he's sniffing. I don't think he's sniffing the MLB anymore. Unfortunately,
yeah, that was one that I think the Cubs unfortunately fucked up. But we won't.
He was great. He was great. But,
hey, when he was healthy, he was damn good. But just unfortunately, health is the key.
Think about it, he did something crazy the year before he came to the Cubs. He pitched in all 7 games of the World Series. That's incredible, dude. That's insane.
That's bananas. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, and he was. I mean, he was good too. And that's the crazy part. Like, and again, like that is the crazy thing. Like, this bullpen is already incredible. But if you get 2019 Rowan Wick, or even like 2020 before he got hurt, Rowan Wick, and you add him to the mix, literally, if you are an opposing team, you better absolutely score all of your fucking runs when the starter is in the game. Because if it gets to the bullpen, you're fucked. I'm not even gonna censor myself on that. You are absolutely fucked. Because there is absolutely no way, unless you are. Let me put it this way: if you are an opposing hitter and you score a run off of this bullpen when they're dealing the way they are, you better go buy a fucking lottery ticket at the end of the night. Because that's about the same odds at this point. Like. They said a stat earlier today on the broadcast. It was like in the last 24 games where Tepera, Chafin, and Kimbrel have pitched. They've pitched it's like 40 innings. Or no, I'm sorry. They have a 0 ERA, 40 Ks, and only 6 walks.
That's incredible.
Disgusting. That's elite. That is elite.
Big time. It's big time.
The elite of the elite in baseball.
They've been showing. I think Kimbrel got up to 18 saves. I think it was today. I think he's 18 of 20 or 16 of 18. It's something like that.
I think it's 16 of 18. Yeah, he got
16 of 18.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even remember those 2 games he blew. I know one of them. I don't know if he has any losses on the year, so I don't know if I think we ended up coming back to win those games, or at least not. Okay, he's 1-2. So let me eat my words a little bit, but
that's okay.
He's been. You could have told me he's 40 for 40 right now. I believe you. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's been insane. I mean, and they've all been insane. And the crazy part is, too, is like, obviously Kimbrel's the one making the big money. He's making like 14 or 16 or whatever it is this year. But like Ryan Tepera's making like $800K.
Right.
Chafin's making like 2.2. Like, none of them are making huge money, which is crazy. And it's like, I mean, it would be absolutely fantastic. Oh, right. Joey Ricotta. One of those blown losses was the extra inning bullshit.
Right. I think it was was it the Dodgers? Who cares? Who cares?
It don't matter. And then
who cares?
Scott from Iowa has said this before. He really wants Craig to get 50 saves. And I'll tell you what, if that means the Cubs are winning 95, maybe 100 games, and they keep it close and he can come in and save all 50 of them, hey man, I'm cool with that. I wouldn't be upset about it. I would not be upset about it at all. But I think 35 to 40 is incredibly realistic.
Oh yeah,
at this pace. As long as they don't take a huge downturn, because like they're not really blowing people out. They're winning convincingly, but they're not blowing people out.
Oh, I mean, a lot of these games have been close. I mean, 8-5, it felt like they were up by 20, especially late in the game. Momentum, but I mean, that's what a lot of those games have felt like. Yeah, where they're not even letting up a base runner. That tying run's never even touching the plate. So.
Not even a fucking chance. And it's but that's how you want it to be, right? Like
exactly.
You even with a 3-run lead, like if your bullpen is that good, you want them to be able to come into the game and you feel like you're up 20 runs because they're just that good. I mean, again, going back to what they did today, Nance 2 innings, no hits, no runs, 1 walk, 2 Ks. Tepera 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 2 Ks. His ERA is only 2.08. Thompson's is only 2.01, and then Dirty Craig's is it's a
6.9.
It's a 0.69.
Nice.
It's so nice. But literally, imagine if he would have gotten it down to 0.669 on 6.9 on Wednesday. That would have been too perfect. Literally would have been too perfect. But like, I mean, they've been so good. And it's crazy. And like, I know we're just sitting here rambling and like oohing and eyeing over the bullpen, but like they deserve it. They've been that good at this point in the season. I mean, there's a reason the Cubs are in first place, and it's because they're not blowing games late. Like, if they're getting beat up, it's early in the game, usually when the starters are in. But even then, the starters are starting to kind of get their shit together. Obviously, Cole Stewart was kind of the exception today, but like Alzolay's been really good all year. Obviously, he's hurt now, but like Jake put up a good outing his last time.
Very good, yeah.
Kyle seems like he's kind of sort of getting it together. The long ball still kind of haunts him like a
tomorrow's
bad
a big
dream.
day.
Yeah, I
big
mean,
day for him.
the long ball still haunts him a little bit like it's a bad dream, but like outside of that, he's seeming to figure it out. Davies seems to be settling in nicely, and
Yes, for sure.
at least being able to give you a good 5. So
yeah, Trevor Williams is trending in the right direction before the appendectomy. So
yeah, his big thing, I feel like his big thing is just like because of his stuff being so nasty, he just walks a lot of guys.
Right.
Sometimes, and that's what I feel like fucks him from going deep into games. Like if he didn't walk as many guys, he would probably be able to go 6 pretty consistently. But unfortunately, it just feels like, I don't even know. Degree versus Dirty Cy Young award race.
I think he needs DeGrom.
Oh, okay. Especially when the Cubs trade for that would be sweet if the Cubs traded for DeGrom. I don't think it's going to happen though because the Mets they're actually in the race for the NL East.
They're in first place by like a good margin, I think, by 3 games or something like that.
And it's been all their pitching. They've been unbelievable. Hey, but speaking of the Mets, current Met and future Cub Marcus Stroman's been really good this year too.
You think the Cubs are going to go after him?
I am speaking that into existence. Absolutely speaking that is. First off, he's one of my favorite players in baseball.
Got to start somewhere.
I got a Stroman Blue Jays jersey chilling in my closet right now. Love Marcus Stroman. Actually, there's a Blue Jays hat back there too that's autographed by him that I got. But absolutely love Stroman. But like again, the Cubs are showing that like you don't need guys that throw 95 to 100 to win ball games.
I actually saw a graphic today that Vanderbilt's starting rotation has a higher average fastball velocity than the Cubs' starting rotation.
I fully believe that, but that's also because Vanderbilt's rotations
right.
That's like the best rotation in college baseball. But but it's a good point. Like a collegiate rotation throws harder than a very prominent major league ball club. Like it's not like they throw harder than the Baltimore Orioles. They're throwing harder than the Cubs, who are in first place right now, which just shows. But even then, Stroman throws fairly hard. He's just he's a big ground ball guy. But again, the Cubs are a perfect team for guys that induce a lot of ground balls because they have an elite defense behind them.
Yep.
And that's why literally, like I was calling for it this past offseason. Obviously, the whole money thing didn't allow for it, but like Marcus Stroman is a perfect fit for the Cubs, especially under David Ross, who prioritizes defense and wants guys to play good defense and do the little things correctly. Marcus Stroman would fucking win 15 to 20 games easy in Chicago. And I'm speaking into existence. He's going to be a Cub. But that's talk for the offseason. We're worried about this current team right now. And with that being said, Joe, I feel like it's a good time for us to still enjoy this one. We'll go ahead and look ahead to tomorrow's game. So I will quickly turn it over to you. Do you got any final thoughts on today that we haven't already addressed or just something you want to sum it up?
I think the greatest way to sum up today's game is just, as far as play-wise, the Cubs scored in every inning from the 4th through the 8th. That's oh boy, accompany that with how great the bullpen was pitching. It's just what the doctor wrote on a Friday at 1:20. So that's just the perfect way to describe today. They did everything they needed to do. So let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. But before we do quickly, absolutely today was an absolutely incredible day. But do make sure you head over to OnTap Sportsnet. There was news about a friend of ours, a guy that we're hoping to be doing some more with here, not only at Cubs on Tap, but with OnTap Sportsnet as a whole. Big announcement for Obvious Shirts. They're going to have their own store right in Wrigley. Super awesome. Congratulations to Joe. Very well-deserving guy. One of the nicest guys I've ever met. Just super. He grinds on that company and what they're doing. And I mean, obviously just seeing where they've gone from being what it was to what he is now. I mean, Jake's got his shirt and is repping it. All the guys are repping Obvious Shirts. So, I mean, getting to see kind of his process over the couple of years and going from, truly a fan making T-shirts to now being a legitimate business is pretty cool. So shout out to Joe and Obvious Shirts.
Definitely.
A friend of ours, Joe, I'm going to be emailing you here in a little bit. So keep an eye on your inbox, pimp, if you're listening.
Yep.
But, no, great guy, well-deserving. So let us go ahead and move on, as you mentioned, Mr. Joe Maris, because these Cubs and Cardinals are back at it again tomorrow. And change of speed here. It is not a day game. It's not a 1:20 game on a Saturday, which it usually is. It's a night game. It's a Saturday night baseball at Wrigley Field. This is very, very rare, and anybody that lives in Chicago
I know why. They're playing on Fox, unfortunately. That's the reason.
National game. National game. But still a big deal. It doesn't happen very often. Does not happen very often. Again, sometimes you'll get Sunday night baseball, like what it is this week as well. But normally, Friday through Sunday is almost always a day game at Wrigley. Like that's just tradition at this point. And so for them to be playing a night game is pretty cool. But as we mentioned, the Cardinals are coming back to Wrigley on Saturday, June 12th for a 6:15 local time first pitch. So Juice, our buddy here at Cubs on Tap, he will be able to watch. Well, he's in town, but if he was in Grand Rapids, he would be watching at 7:15. Beautiful. It'll be a beautiful night at Wrigley Field. Let's just be honest with ourselves. If you are in the Cardinals market, you can listen to the game on KMOX 11:20 a.m. or 98.7 FM. And then obviously for the Cubs, your usual suspects, 670 The Score and WRTO 1200. And then, as you mentioned, Sir Joe Maris, you can watch on Fox because it is a nationally televised game. The Cardinals are trotting out right-handed pitcher John Gant. He is 4-3 on the season with a 2.63 ERA. He's actually been pretty good with 41 Ks. He had actually his last outing was probably his worst outing of the year so far. Had 7 earned runs, only 4 innings of work versus the Reds. But he's been good. So we'll see what he does. It seems like he walks a lot of people. Yeah, is the walks with 9 over his last 3 starts, and he leads the MLB with 37 walks this year as a pitcher. So I feel like that's a place that the Cubs could take advantage of him. And then for the Cubs, as you mentioned, alluded to a little earlier, Joe, Kyle Hendricks on the mound. He's 7-4 on the season after winning his last 5 starts with a 4.59 ERA and 56 Ks. For the professor. So, Joe, I will turn it over to you. A little preview for tomorrow. We'll fly the W pick, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up here shortly.
So, like you said, Hendricks, Cubs have won his last 5 starts. He is trending in all the right directions. And tomorrow is a big game. He's had a lot of good success against the Cardinals, just like most teams. But tomorrow's a big day for him. Tomorrow would really cement his comeback into, being our ace. So it's a big day for Hendricks. I trust him with my life, so I'm not too worried about that. As far as John Gant, if he continues to walk walk hitters like that, the Cubs are going to have base runners all day. I mean, we know the Cubs will take their walks, minus Javi, but that's so.
Javi might even walk tomorrow.
So if they can keep taking their walks. I mean, they're just doing a great job at the plate. Don't change a damn thing. Just don't change a damn thing. Feed off the energy. It's going to be just like yesterday. Or today, I mean. Wow. It's just going to be like today.
It feels like yesterday.
Right. It's going to be just like today. Feed off that energy and just pound the Cardinals again. Just pound them into the ground. And then I'll be there Sunday night for the funeral.
There you go. I love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah, they'll be getting the casket ready tomorrow night. And then they can flip it close and nail it down for you on Sunday night. I agree with you, man. I mean, Kyle has absolutely been trending in the right direction. It feels like if any pitcher on the staff is starting to figure his shit out, it's definitely him. Again, just keep the long ball out of the equation. I mean, I think fortunately for him, if we're being entirely honest, there's only 2 guys in this Cardinals lineup that truly scare me. And that's obviously Goldschmidt and Arenado. But, just be smart. Obviously, just pitch well. Hendricks always pitches well at home. I think that's a big thing to consider here too. So as long as he does all the right things, I agree with you. I think they can get a win tomorrow night. The Cubs are, again, like you said, they always work good at bats. I mean, we just talked for like 5 to 10 minutes about Anthony Rizzo's 14 pitch home run at bat today. So like it shows this team knows how to work deep counts. Get Gant out of the game early and then just beat up on this bullpen. I mean, that they worked today. You beat up on Oviedo. You got him through 5, and then
you get into the 5th. Yep.
So, I mean, just do the same thing tomorrow, and it should work out just fine. Interested to see the starting lineup. I would imagine it's probably going to be very similar to today's because, again, another right-hander on the mound. So, like, I don't think Jock's getting a day off by any means.
Actually, thinking about it, I don't be surprised to see Chris Bryant back at third base tomorrow because I think they're going to get Happ in the outfield. He'll be able to bat left-handed.
True.
Can't sit Jock after. I mean, you're just not going to sit Jock after today.
No.
Hayward, unless they're going to give him an off day for he's still recently off the IL.
Still went 2 for 3 today too.
I think we're going to see Bryant back at third base, so don't be surprised to see that. But we'll say who knows. I mean, Hayward might get the day off or something. But tomorrow, I think Wisdom's maybe due for an off day.
Yeah, but he's played a lot. He's played a lot, and I mean, granted, he still has produced. I mean, obviously not the same clip that he started because it's just outer worldly and impossible to keep going. But I mean, he's still been solid. He plays a really good defense too. Made a couple really nice plays today at third. So, and honestly, I don't mind Chris in the outfield because it saves his
not
knees.
at all.
And especially being a bigger guy, like when you can save his knees like that, it's going to prolong his career. That's why I ultimately think he's best destined for left field, which again, I have no problem Chris Bryant being the everyday left fielder for the Chicago Cubs for 10 more years. Does not bother me a single
Sign me up. Sign me up.
Extend him, extend Rizzo. I don't know what they're going to do with Baez. I feel like he's probably the biggest wild card. I know people will be like, well, Boris is Bryant's agent, so he's the biggest wild card. Sure, fine. But if we're just talking straight up off of organizational depth, their role in the team, and what they do, Rizzo and Bryant are exponentially more important than Baez. And I'm calling a spade a spade. I love Javi. I'm never going to dirty talk Javi. I absolutely love Javi Baez. Even if he's not a Cub, I'll still love him. But they are so deep at shortstop in the system. And let's be honest, Nico could play there every day if he really needed him to. They just drafted a first round shortstop. Right. I was going to say Ed Howard was literally just their first round pick. They're deep in the outfield, but like if Chris is playing left and first and eventually DH every other day, you can still have your top outfield prospects come and play. Then you could play Chris every once in a blue moon at third. But they have also guys that can play third. Honestly, here's what I wouldn't be mad about. If they find a way to keep all three, eventually just move Javi to third base. When Ed Howard's ready, move Javi to third, and then you literally have a gold glove infield because it'd probably be Javi at third, shortstop would be Ed Howard, second base would probably be Nico, and then Anthony Rizzo would be your first baseman. You literally have a gold glove caliber outfield or infield, and then you got Chris who plays good defense in left field. You probably by that time are probably going to have either Brennan Davis or Cole Roeder as your center fielder every day. And then who knows what the fuck they do with right field by that time. But if Jay Hay's still here, he's a gold glover too. All the more reason that Marcus Stroman should be a Cub. And then Nicholas Castellanos comes back. He's your everyday DH, hits 80 bombs every year. It'll be great. It'll be fine. Everybody, it'll be just fine. But no, I'm right there with you, man. I think they get the win tomorrow. Who is your fly the W pick for tomorrow?
I think I gotta go with Jock. Last time I was on the show, I picked Jock to put one in the seats. Did it against Darvish, right? Yep. Did it again today. I don't know if he's gonna put one in the seats tomorrow, but 3 for 4, just absolutely locked in right now. I think he's gonna stay hot. And they were talking about it on the radio today too. This is his first taste at 100% Wrigley crowd as a Cubs player, but he said he has experienced it, especially in the playoffs with the Cubs playing the Dodgers. So he's not new to it, but being on the side of it, and he's got to be just absolutely feeling it. So I think he's going to have another good day tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he's dialed in, and I warned people. I fucking warned people, Joe. I said, don't let Jock get hot.
Yep. So the power was coming.
What did they do? They let him get hot.
The power was coming. I know me and Cody were on a show probably a month ago at this point. We said the power is coming. It's got 7 home runs. Yeah, it's here.
I warned people, and nobody listened. So guess what? The rest of the MLB gets to pay for it, and then it amuses me. So I'm obviously going to be happy about it as well.
Definitely.
Tomorrow's interesting. So I got to look at some splits. I don't know how many guys have seen Gant. Actually, not many.
He's young.
I already got it. No, I looked at numbers and I looked at batting average and I looked at stats and I already got my guy for tomorrow. Give me the 14 pitch at bat king, Anthony Rizzo for tomorrow because he is batting .556 against Gant in his career in 9 at bats with a homer and 2 RBIs. So give me Riz. Hey,
do it. His power's coming too.
Here's the thing. This dude has no problem being honest. I'm not going to say the comments, but I think everybody knows what I'm alluding to. He has no problem being honest. And then he goes up there and he fucking busts his ass at the plate. Works an incredible at-bat. It's a fucking nuke to right field. Screaming, rowdy. I mean, let's call a spade here, folks. He's the closest thing to Mr. Cubs since Ernie.
He is the Cubs.
Yes.
He is the Cubs. Of our lifetime, especially.
Yes. I remember Joe Madden said it, and I still remember it to this day. Joe Madden said, Anthony Rizzo is the main ingredient that makes the omelet. He is the egg of the omelet because that's what he is. He's the captain. There's a reason that people say to put the fucking C on his chest.
Exactly.
Because he's the captain of this team. Tomorrow he shows up. Juice spoke it into existence during that San Diego series for those last 2 games that the captain's got to put the team on his back. He did that. I think he had 5 or 6 RBIs in those last 2 games.
Something like
and
that.
Then he went ahead and did it again today with his solo shot. That was huge. I don't know if he goes yard, but I think he has a good day tomorrow. I'm going to take Anthony Rizzo as my
I like it.
The W pick. Joe, before we get out of here, I do want to remind everybody Cubs on Tap is the official Cubs podcast, the On Tap Sports Network. Go ahead and check out all of our great content over at www.ontapsportsnet.com and at OnTapSportsNet on social media. You can also follow the pod-specific account that is at Cubbies, not Cubs, Cubbies, Cubbies on Tap. You can follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. I am at Loose on Tap on Twitter. Joe is at Joe Maris on Twitter. You can go ahead and follow both of us there. We also got guys like Juice at Juice on Tap. We got Cody at Cody on Tap. We got Marty Laval at Marty Laval. Go check his spelling though when you go find him. We got Joey Ricotta here in the comments. The Riot 326. Hey, Joey, if you're still listening, I've been nailing your Twitter account actually to a T when I've been doing it. I've been very, very pleased so far. Because I was like, I think it's the Riot 326, but I'm not sure. And I nailed it. So I'm very proud of myself about that. But you go follow him. You go follow all the Cubs on Tap contributors. We do a hell of a job here. I'm very, very, very proud to say that I'm a part of this group of guys. And then we got other great coverage. Bears, we were talking about Justin Fields today. Bulls, Blackhawks, and Cubs fans. We all got at least one friend that's a White Sox fan. We love our White Sox guys. They're our buddies. Yep. We don't love the Sox, but we love our Sox on Tap team. You go ahead and bring your friends over as well because they'll enjoy our coverage too. So once again, www.ontapsportsnet.com and at OnTapSportsNet on social media, the OnTap Sports Network. Go ahead and check out what's on tap in Chicago sports. Joe, what do you say, man? We get out of here the only way we know how to, especially against the Cardinals.
Definitely. Let's go Cubs.
And fuck